Welcome, guys. Listen, welcome to your market watch. We're going to take a good look, in-depth look at the markets right now, and let's get on with it. We'll start the charts right here. Now, welcome to the show. Now, here's the thing. We're going to start with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's up today. Now, do you remember how I've been saying about how it's going to just go? It's basically just going along. I think its uptrend is a little bit more than its downtrend, but it's a market in waiting. It's like a market that's in limbo. It's waiting to crash. And at this point, I mean, everything's there for it to crash. Everything is there for it to crash. So, I mean, I'm thinking that it's going to last until mid-April, but everything's there already for it to crash. It's ready to go. I mean, it's kind of like a guy, if he's demolishing a building, he's taking the whole side of the building already. Or you ever seen these guys bring down silos and they knock out the base of the silo and then they chop it down like they're chopping down a tree and then the silo falls? Well, it's like that. It's like the whole side of the silo's been knocked out. She's ready to fall, but she's just sitting there waiting to fall. That's what the stock market's like. So it's up 99 points today at 24,901. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at oil. Oil over the last 5 days, all of a sudden today, it's taken a sudden drop in price. Now, oil is counter to the dollar. Oil price drops, dollar goes up. It's the same way with gold and silver, you know. So let's take a quick look at the silver price here. The silver price isn't really dropping like oil. It's at 1647 today. We'll take a closer look here. Bring the charts in. $16.47 right now. It's only up a penny. Yesterday was a down day for silver. It was this red line here. And see this swoop right down. She was up like almost 1670, you know. In fact, it was. The day before it was over. It was over 1680. It was heading up towards 17 bucks again. It was doing good, but it's fell back. I had a viewer write me in about J.P. Morgan's silver supply, you know, and the thing is an awful lot of them, I think, have overestimated his actual physical supply of silver. They say, like, he's got 1 billion ounces, you know. Well, I'm going to tell you, if he'd pulled 1 billion ounces out of the market, there's such a tight supply of silver in the world that he would have brought on a silver shortage. This is all the J.P. Morgan, the actual amount of silver, as near as I can determine, in physical silver, he actually does have about 30 or 40 million ounces, as near as I can determine. They're awful coy about letting you have real information, and I had to do a lot of searching on the internet to find out how much he really has. And as near as I can determine, probably around 40 million ounces, which is quite a little bit of silver. But it's not enough, even if he dumped all that into the market, if we have a silver shortage and he has 40 million ounces and he dumps that into the market will suck that up just like, just boom, gone. It'll suck it all right up. And so, don't worry about that. Let's move on, and anyway, let's take a look at the effect of the dollar. The dollar is at 89.77 right now, and it's up only marginally, but it's moving up. It's been moving up in the last hour or two. So the dollar has been staying around 90, basically, and it's been doing that for quite a little while now. Now, Bitcoin's had a little bit of a fall. Bitcoin has had a little bit of a fall. She's come down below 10,000 again, and she was up over 11,000 the other day. She's stumbling along right now. She's having a little bit of a hard time right now. I haven't looked it up to find out exactly sure why, but my expectations is for it to stumble along with the stock market until the big crash. I expect that Bitcoin won't crash immediately with the stock market. When the stock market starts to really drop and dive, that the initial reaction is going to be, when the stock market starts to crash, is for Bitcoin to actually make a few gains initially. But then when the stock market drops below 20,000, and you heard me right, because we're in for a big crash, when the stock market goes below 20,000 is when the fear is going to enter into the world. The whole world is going to stop and fear is going to enter in. And when that actually happens, that's when we're going to see the first real sellers in Bitcoin. They're going to want to be holding cash at that point. Some of them will go for gold and silver, but I think primarily they'll go in for cash. And when that starts to happen, Bitcoin starts to drop really fast. You see some really big red candles. That's going to make it go all the quicker. People are going to be frightened right then. And it's going to be proven then at that point that Bitcoin is a speculative investment. It's not a safe haven asset. That's simply what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is the safe haven assets, gold and silver, then at that same moment, gold and silver is going to turn around. Now, see, at the first part of the stock market crash, I think you're going to see a fall in gold and silver. At the first part of the stock market crash, when Bitcoin's doing good, it's going to be a reversal there at around 20,000. When the stock market drops to 20,000, it's going to be a reversal from Bitcoin. They're going to go to the real safe haven asset. The real safe haven asset will be proven to be the real safe haven asset at that point in time. And you're going to see gold and silver start to take off then at that point. And once gold and silver really start to take off, they're never going to look back, never. Because even after the Federal Reserve comes to the rescue, that's just going to drive them up even higher and faster. So it's going to be all over gold and silver. If you haven't got it before the stock market crash, then you're going to be out of luck. Because once it takes off, it's never going to look back, gold and silver. And the gold and silver ratio is going to change. It's going to change. It's going to go back to our more normal ratio. So this is what we got to look forward to. We got to look forward to a multiplying of the price of silver during this crash. Cryptocurrency market capitalizations, 398 billion. We've seen a substantial drop-off in the cryptocurrency market capitalizations, which it does not bode well for cryptocurrency. Everything's down. All the numbers are down. Litecoin's only $180 right now. But I don't think this is the big crash. I'm telling you seriously, if you wait to the bottom of the big crash, you're going to be able to probably pick Litecoins up for $5. And you're probably going to be able to, once again, get Bitcoins for like, I don't know, $400, $500, something like that. But I would suggest that you buy the better coins that are faster and everything. Like Dash might be really cheap. They might be $2 a piece, or something like that. Pick up a bunch of them. Pick up a whole bunch of Moneros. And pick up a whole bunch of Litecoins and a whole bunch of Ethereum and stuff. And a whole bunch of Neos. Neos might be $1 a piece. Pick up a whole slew of them, and then sit on that. HODL them, because you'll become rich. In a nutshell, at that point, you'll become rich. Because this whole thing was first, it's going to switch back over, and they're going to really run into these blockchain coins, but then the new technology, probably like maybe 10 years from now, will start a slow transition. But it's going to be a slow movement, just like it was slow coming into these. 2009, all this started, and now it's 2018, almost 10 years later, and what we've seen is a slow, progressive evolution of the cryptocurrencies. That's going to continue, but it is not going to stop. And if you know how to play this evolution, you're going to become rich. And so, anyway, bonds and rates. Where's my bond market here? I don't want this page in front of me. I gotta have to go down. Okay, there we go. The U.S. bonds are all, yields are all dropping today, but not substantially. U.S. 10 years is the one we focus on. 2.857. That's what it's at today. It's a little bit of a drop. Now, I know, and I've said before, that the U.S. 10 years is going to stay in a range between 2.7 and 3.0 until April 1st. April 1st. until, what's that, Fool's Day. Until April 1st, it's going to stay in that range. Once April 1st hits, from then on in, through April, you're going to see it start to climb. The market crash, I believe, is going to be when the U.S. 10-year hits 3.25%. That's pretty much where I'm thinking it's going to be when we have the market crash, of 3.25%. And then the crash is going to come suddenly. Now, they might be able to stop this crash using different money that they have available through the exchange stabilization fund and stuff like that. If they're able to stop it, like they were the last one. That's what they did. The last crash, they stopped it. If they're able to stop this next crash, then they'll be able to hold it back for 3 months until they raise it again to 40 billion. And then we're going to get the big one. The thing is they're going to keep raising it until we get the big one. It's just like craziness. They're going to keep pushing the envelope. I remember a guy that lived down in Florida years and years ago. I'm not going to give his name, but he had one of these little ultralight aircrafts. And he had this thing that he loved to do. I don't know why he loved to do it, but he was a thrill seeker. He'd get up a few hundred feet in the air with his little ultralight, and then he would do like a dive bomb. And then he'd pull up, and then at the last minute he'd pull up, and he would go, and then he'd pull up, and he got a lot of fun going back up into the air again with these little dive bombs that he was doing. And he kept pushing the envelope, you know, bigger. He'd go a little bit higher, a little bit faster toward the ground, and then he'd pull up at the last minute, you know, and everything. So when he was doing one of these dive bombs one time, and he heard a snap. One of the bolts broke on his wing. And his little ailerons or whatever wouldn't pull up to do the pull-up. He died. And it was a tragedy. But, you know, he was pushing the envelope. That's what the Fed's doing right now. They're pushing the envelope. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to do 30 billion at the end of this month. And then they're going to push it to 40 billion. And then if that doesn't cut it, then they're going to push it to 50 billion. They're just going to keep pushing it until they get what they're looking for, which is the crash. You know, I mean, it's a sin. Because we're going to have to live through the crash. 89.77, there's the U.S. dollar, but we did that already. So listen, thank you guys for listening to my market report today. Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow. And you guys are great. If you haven't subbed already to my other channel, the Delta Report, it's suffering a little bit right now. Please go over there and give it a few subs. I'm trying to keep up to date on all the news over there. That's my news, more of my news channel. This is my finance channel. So thank you very much, and bye-bye for now.